Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Between Two Teachers. Today is Monday, August the 8th, and we are bringing you the news from near and far about education, good and bad. And it's back to school time. So things are starting up, and so we'll bring you the news. And my name is Consuelo Lara.
My name is Madeline Cronenberg, and we begin, as always, with our land acknowledgement. We pause to acknowledge that we have gathered on the ancestral territory of Huichin, part of the unceded land of the Chochenyo and Karkin-speaking Muwekma Ohlone people. We remember their continued connection to this region and give thanks to them for allowing us to work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. We offer our respect to their elders and all Ohlone people of the past and present. And we remind you that there is still a battle for the Ohlone people to get federal recognition. And that is a really important thing that we want to continue to support. And the justice for the Muwekma Ohlone people who are not recognized as who are not at this time a federally recognized tribe. And we also ask you to like and share and subscribe to Between Two Teachers and share us out. So where to start and what's happening? Schools are coming back. I heard today that a third of American students are back in school right now. And I know in Louisiana, where my son teaches, he's back in the classroom. They started last week. Many districts are starting this week, and districts in California are starting in a couple of weeks. And there are changes. We all have the issues around teacher shortage, because that's one of the things that's happening. It's how many openings there are in each classroom and in each district. And it's very fluid. People are trying to find out how they can possibly fill all the positions when there've been so many retirements and not just retirements, but resignations to go into other fields.
That's true. That's true, because there's a lot of other opportunities outside of education that pay more.
Absolutely. Many. So this is a big issue now, more so than ever before. And I think that all sorts of things came together after the pandemic. And the pandemic's not over. I mean, that's another whole thing. The pandemic, still is hovering over us. And different places are addressing this differently. Florida has come up with a creative way, which of course in their case lowers the bar lower than we've ever had it, where they have made a connection between military service and a teaching profession. And their connection is that if you've been in the military service for I think 4 years, or if you're married to a person who's been in the military service, you automatically qualify for a provisional teaching certificate. Now, when you enter, and you will automatically get it, and then you will enter the classroom, you will have a mentor. The mentor has to be a teacher who's taught for at least 3 years. And this 3-year teacher will be there to support you as a brand new teacher who's had no training whatsoever and doesn't need a college degree, that you just need to have had this military training.
And where are the mentors coming from?
They're at school. So somebody at the school who's taught for 3 years will be assigned to be a mentor.
Oh, they wouldn't be in the classroom with them. They would just help them out.
Right. Down the hall. They'll be down the hall.
Okay.
And that is Governor DeSantis' solution to the teaching shortage. So we're going to see how that's going to work out for him.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I mean, I saw that also, that rather than lowering the requirement to be a teacher, you need to elevate the profession itself. And of course, the salaries, but also things like maybe housing subsidy, and you get to work on building housing for teachers. How about going back to lifetime benefits? How about extra pay for your degrees that you have?
Right.
There's so many ways that they could elevate this profession and really respect it. People could come back. And the whole CTE area of
Right.
not having people lose their, they could come out of retirement and not lose Social Security. There's so many things that could be done, but this is not it. This is not it.
No, this
Yeah.
is not one of them.
No.
Which doesn't mean that somebody who's a veteran couldn't become a teacher. Obviously they could, and so could their spouse, but there's a pathway. And what I also think about this particular program, it's so unfair to these veterans. It's leading them to think that they're going to have, this is an easy job. And if you just, if you were a corporal in the military, you'll automatically have success in second grade. That's the message, right? And it's unfair to them.
It's unfair. Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. See if anybody.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. The other thing that's going on in Florida is an active state, certainly for education, many things going on. They have removed sex education curriculum from Miami-Dade.
Okay.
So they will have none.
Okay.
That's a decision that came up because there was a dispute related to the LGBTQ laws and how to present information to students. So they also have, Florida has all the issues around books as well, and what's an appropriate book and what's not. And this all goes along with the conservative model of parent control.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're talking about, right? This is parent control, and other states have adopted it. In some states now, you have to post your curriculum on a website to get the parents to read it and understand it.
Prove it before you can use it.
Prove it. Yeah.
Okay.
Approve it.
That's right.
Yep. So that's happening. I did want to talk about a couple of things in California that we haven't had a chance to talk about before. And that is school rebuilding. California schools are just because there's been a pandemic doesn't mean the school sites have gotten better and that the buildings don't have the same level of need to be rebuilt that they've always had, because they do have that. And right now, there are at least two, I'm sure there's more, school districts that have voted to put bond measures, taxes, right? But for bond measures for buildings on the November ballot. And among them are Long Beach, which is putting a $1.7 billion bond on. And Pleasanton is voting to do it. And I'm sure there are others. And I just think, for me, that it's important that the community gets a chance to weigh in, right? You can't just assume, and I think some board members do that. Well, they'll never pay for it, so I'm not even going to think about it. I'm not even going to talk about it. Well, you don't know that.
I don't know that. You can't predict that. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know that. And the fact is that the community members do know that prices have gone up. This is not a surprise to them. And if they recognize that there's a need for rebuilding or conversations around rebuilding sites in your district, I think the fair thing to do is to put it on the ballot, just like they have in Long Beach. Long Beach has always had best practices around many things. And that's because people, the Long Beach board has been there a very long time and people trust them.
Yeah.
That, and I think that they're going to get their $1.7 billion. And I'm not sure what the details are of the Pleasanton board, but I think that the fact that they're at least going to give the community the chance to have the conversation and have community members step up and support a campaign or not support a campaign.
Yeah.
is
And I
the fair
think
thing.
the community doesn't know that there's a difference between suppose there's no bond and we just go ahead. What could be rebuilt or built without a bond? Where are we now? The status of that now, compared to what could happen with a bond? How many schools could be affected and rebuilt, or so there's a
Right.
difference. There's going to be a
Well,
difference.
and there's also the fact that we are always told that we are not, how difficult it is to keep your promises. And the problem you have is when you're going to raise a certain amount of money and promise that it's going to deliver a certain amount of construction, you have to guess at how much that construction is going to cost.
Yep. Yep.
And most likely, in my personal experience, is that's a hard thing to do. And even when your estimators come in, and I've always believed that these are honest people, and when they've given us estimates that they were giving us estimates that they believed were true, those estimates always were outpaced by the cost of doing business. And then that wasn't necessarily inflation. It could be the cost of production. It could be all sorts of different costs. It could be labor. It could be supplies. It could be transportation. It could be anything that may impact the price that you're ultimately going to have to pay for a building. And so that all has to be understood by voters, that you're going to do the best you can, you're going to prioritize everything you can, but whether or not you can't actually promise how much something is going to cost between now and 5 years from now when you actually pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. And at least putting on the ballot would have that discussion. People would be able to debate or whatever, and that brings the information out. So,
Yeah.
right, it's the community's decision. It shouldn't be, let's keep it from them. It really is, it should be left up to them.
I think so. And if you want to vote against it and you're a board member, then vote against it. But if you know you have a need, I personally think you should just put it on and see what happens, see what the community, if the community agrees with you or not.
Yeah.
Right. That's the idea. So anyway, there are at least those two. I'm sure there'll be many more on the November ballot as we move forward into November. And then one of the other things, I'm just going to say it again, because we say it every week, is don't forget to vote yes on 28 for art and music in our schools and dance. But it's the vote arts and minds. Then, no, we'll talk about this another time. I wanted to get down to a couple of best practices. And one of them is a best practice that's done by an organization called Calculus Roundtable. And Calculus Roundtable has done a tremendous amount of work with African-American students in West Contra Costa and other districts and schools as well. And also, I think they also now are connected to a tribal community where they work. Their program is Think Like a Game Designer. And they supported the Mafanikio program, which is a program for African-American children in West Contra Costa. And their scores were 4 times higher. The African-American students in their program grew 4 times faster than the rate of similar students in the district.
Very, very good practice.
It is extraordinarily good. And so when you see that, then the issue is anyone else could do it. This is not like, it's not like a secret website or a secret program at all. It's just that you're taking children and giving them a hands-on opportunity and additional hands-on instruction in a fun, exciting way, in science and in STEM.
Yep. Great. That's great.
So there's him. And then I just wanted to do a shout out to 2 very different communities, but who are doing the same thing right now and became newsworthy. And one of them is Belgrade, Montana, and the other one is Shreveport, Louisiana. And they are bringing parents into their classrooms. And the Shreveport program inspired the Belgrade, Montana program. The Shreveport program is called Dads on Duty. Dads on Duty is bringing dads into the classrooms to support their students. And it's a great idea. It's the kind of thing that more and more communities need to look at in order to support. And this is something you could do with the veterans, right? The dads on duty.
Great. Oh, yeah.
Right, which is different than these are dads on duty who are here to support the teachers, not to be the teachers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. Oh, that's great. That's a great practice.
Dads on duty, they come in, they call themselves dads on duty, and after a breakout in violence at their schools, the dads became a presence in the schools and are a continual presence in their schools and able to be mentors and supporters for the kids.
That's right. That's right. Very good.
So that was very good news. I'm going to give an update on Uvalde. The update is the school principal was put on leave and then she wasn't put on leave.
Huh.
Now there's confusion there. I mean, there's obviously an investigation about what she did and what she didn't do. And so that's remains to see what Ms. Gutierrez's future is with the district. And now the end, our last thing is, one other thing. The other answer to the teacher shortage is developing a strong program for substitutes, which we have talked about before, but is really an issue that doesn't go away. And places that have substitutes, either one of two things happens. Either your substitutes could be your retired teachers, people who've been in the district or who've taught, who have a long history of teaching, or they can be people who are looking at exploring teaching as a career, right? But you need to have programs that you have site substitutes. The same person comes to the same site, knows their teachers, right? Teachers who have a person that they can rely on to always be their substitute are going to be far more successful than ones who rely on a computer to select one.
Yeah, and that's what they need. They need to do that. That's true. We've also talked about, substitutes. There could be an AA degree certification. So that means you've taken some classes and you've got some strategies and techniques you could use. So there's many other things that are not being done for subbing. Yeah.
Right. And their role, I mean, you talk about teachers not being professionalized. Subs are totally not, right? I mean, it is the kind of thing that if you could honor your substitutes, I mean, you can almost say you could judge a school district by how they respect their subs.
Yeah. I remember in elementary school that they called their subs visiting scholars. You can have a visiting scholar today.
Yeah.
Elevate
them, bring it, have somebody come in to introduce them to the class, but have the principal come in and introduce them to the class as opposed, and there are so many things that you would assume happen on a regular basis, but they don't. And what happens is it's easy to not support the subs. It's easy to not support them, and it's a big mistake to not support them. And so they are the critical answer to the teaching shortage. And so the more we look to bolster subs, I think that they are a strong pathway to success with respect to the teacher shortage in particular.
Yes.
Yeah. And finally, time for our shout out.
Yep. Someone we know and love.
Exactly. Somebody who actually we did a program with and have worked with, who's gone on to even greater success. and that is our good friend, Will McGee. And Mr. McGee oversaw the Office of African American Success in West Contra Costa. And Mr. McGee is now the Director of Student Achievement and Support for the California Department of Education.
Congratulations to him for that. Oh my gosh. That's
Big congratulations to you, Mr. McGee. And I know that you're gonna do a great job for them. And student achievement and support, what more important group is this is a division, the Division of Student Achievement and Support in California. I'm sure that their work is extremely important, and it's the kind of things we talk about here, student achievement and support.
exactly.
So we will follow up. Hopefully we will be able to bring him to the community on Between Two Teachers soon. And we look forward to doing that.
Yeah, we'll go visit him too.
We'll go visit him. We'll go to Sacramento. We'll do a field trip, Between Two Teachers field trip to visit our friend.
Okay.
Okay. So till next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.